Hey everyone, we're on episode 3 now, Between Two Farms with yours truly, Nathan Filati and Quint Keneally here. So we're trying to try to figure some fun things to talk about this week. It's like every week's crazy. Something in ag happens. It's the winter too. There's conferences, shows, clearly politics and people complaining is the norm. But what's new in your world?
Man, it's meeting season. Just getting after it. Seems like you can't get enough meetings in a day trying to game plan for the next year and well, whether it be fertility, finances, seed. I mean, you can fill up your day pretty easy. So
Yeah, I've been well, I've I'm trying to still get all my FSA stuff done right before the potential shutdown here. So I'm like crossing my fingers. There's been some just delays, and then they're so overwhelmed because everyone's trying to, get a little lower interest. The banks are like, go to FSA first if you're on kind of the edge, and I'm new, so it's weird. It's like because I'm new, I'm almost in a better position than some farms are because some have accumulated like more risk and more debt just over
exactly
the last few years.
for
But then
sure.
there's so many unknowns. So they're like, well, we'll give you this, but if you can do this and that, and
Yep. Some what ifs. Oh yeah. But
yeah,
yeah, at least you're starting out with a clean slate, building the all your equipment and everything. So you got a game plan. But yeah, it seems it's always slow going through the FSA, no matter what it is.
yeah. Well, and I don't blame them. It's just like it makes me think. God, there's so many little things that could just be easier for them if they enhanced, all the ag tech stuff I worked with, and then you've dealt with yourself. It's like I think they all want it. It's just like how do those things get actually done?
Yeah,
Which
yeah, especially you bring your tablet in there and it's like, weird. They're used
well,
to the
I
rock and chipping in there, so
well, what was funny is when I was applying for stuff, they're like, you're the first, like if you do it all online through the portal, which is there, and that was its own kind of hassle to get going. It's like you'd be the first person in the county to apply for financing for operating in the county. I was like, no one's done it. They're like, no, it's just, people aren't used to it. It's like, well, I'll try it. Why not? I'm a digital guy.
uh-huh.
I did it all. And then they're like, well, yeah, now we got to correct this and this. It's sometimes easier just to meet in person. I'm like, okay, yes. But the way it's online, it is actually fairly simple. It's just maybe, maybe say that on the webpage.
Right, yeah, because that
It
portal's probably
needs to
been
fit
sitting there for
this.
years and nobody's used it or messed with it and enhanced it at all. So
Well, it's like upload, your balance sheet. I was like, okay, I got a balance sheet, put that there. Like, well, it's not in our balance sheet. I was like, yeah, well, yours is more confusing than what I mean, there's like all these things I don't need.
yeah,
That's where they need a like an AI thing, like turn this balance sheet into this balance sheet, just go and review it. Could be probably done in, milliseconds, to be honest.
exactly. Yeah, put this in the right spot on this form, so definitely, but I do not foresee that coming too soon.
No, well, speaking of even AI, I've I finally why I waited, I don't know. So I finally got an Anthropic account for Claude and I started to mess around with it. And I was like, you gotta if anyone's listening, you just gotta pay for the $20 for the pro version, else you can't get anything done. And I've used ChatGPT for a while with various things. And it's like I'm always fighting with it because it's like, why did you do this? Claude does not do that. It's very analytical. It just kind of does what you want and shows it. Like, so if you're more of an analytical brain, like just do it, and it can actually create some real little simple apps for you too. I mean, to
Right.
some extent, there's nuance, but
Yeah, especially
have you
for
done that
20
any?
20 was it $20 a month to take all the
Yeah,
hassle out of it and get it right and fix it for you, so heck yeah, I'll save a lot of time.
yeah, and then there's just so many new things popping. So like last night before bed and this morning, I just was on an idea kick. I don't know, sometimes it happens, and just talking into is like I've got like 30 different little mini apps. I'm like, these all could probably be created within honestly a week, most of them, and they would all be pretty useful. Like, just off the top of my head, one was we were talking about it, before the call. All right, I live 3 hours away from the nearest soybean crushing plant. Yeah, but my where my farm is, it's a dollar basis for soybeans. Terrible. I'm in North Dakota. That's just the way we live. Well, soybean crushing plant, it's you know 0 or maybe 10 cents or something small. All right, my truck holds this. I have this many miles. Fuel is at this. It burns approximately this per mile, and it takes this much time. Oh, make me a little app that I can calculate where my break evens are, what I can transport. I mean,
Exactly.
something
Yeah.
simple, but by just like speaking those things, for one, the app could be created, or it can just figure it out, and then and you're like, oh, I guess as long as the price stays here and fuel stays here, it makes sense every single time.
Mhm. Yeah, at least you got your thresholds in there. All you gotta punch in a couple numbers, and it does all the math for you. Makes it a lot faster for looking at bids for sure. 'Cause, yeah, we're doing the same thing
Well,
down here.
I mean, that's the idea with some of these AI tools is you can really just speak into it and it'll probably calculate it without even creating an app. You don't need your own specific app. It's just like, just basically do this because I don't want to type these things and formulas into a spreadsheet. Oh, by the way, make me a spreadsheet of this now.
Right, yeah. While you're at it, add this on there
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
future reference.
Can you also do the laundry? No, I cannot.
Maybe someday. Uh,
So what conferences did you go to?
I was at the Sentinel, Network Summit on Friday. That was fantastic. So, spoke on a panel there with some really great group of 2 guys, Jesse and Wayne, I believe it was, and they're really good. They've been working with us a while. So, Sentinel was kinda working mainly in the fertigation,
Hmm.
where we, apply nitrogen later in the season, different nutrients. I've never actually fertigated myself, so it was kinda walking in a different spot, and I've only worked with Sentinel this last year, and I was kinda hooked in through UNL Extension and the combine. So they're a big supporter of the combine, which is our Nebraska
Hmm.
ag tech innovation hub type deal. So
Yep.
it's been fun. I just started it last spring and we actually used them for Y dropping and they're adding satellite imagery on there. And then they incorporate the irrigation management into the nitrogen efficiency. So that's pretty cool. Kind of my two main ones I'm looking at on the farm. So that was the fun part about seeing it in action. And you got like Analytics there with Jesse
Yep.
and Go On Ag. So our guy that does some of my moisture probes. So it's kind of like getting that broad picture. We're starting to get the systems to talk to each other to make that
Yeah.
efficiency on the farm. So it was really cool to get there. We're like all in one room. Besides it being cold, it was super cold. So we got a decent amount of showing there, but it kept from some people away too because kids are out of school and diesel's gelling up. We're always scared of that in Nebraska, but it was a
Yeah.
good group of people.
You don't get the diesel mixes like we do, which is like well, as you're I think we
Right.
got to, I got here to negative 48 wind chill, and where the farm is at, it's like negative 60. So you
Oh,
just don't do anything then. You just or the everyone leaves everything running constantly.
that's
Like
true. Yep.
I had a friend that ran his pickup for 2 weeks straight just because it was that cold. Just what you did. You can't do it with modern diesels though. So
Oh yeah, this
word to the
shut off
wise.
after half an hour.
Yeah, but yeah. So so you did do some fertigation last year, or you're going to this year?
I have not. So, like, we're, like, in the
Oh,
section of Nebraska, like, we catch the Iowa rain, so it seemed like ever since I've been back, we've never had a fertigation pump or anything on there, the capabilities,
yeah,
but it's starting to click a little bit. It would be a lot better to get some of this as we start split rating more through the season, so that way you're not putting out up much as up front, and
yeah,
because we lose it to leaching or volatilization. So then we do come back and spread urea later on once the crop's about a foot tall. And then I started incorporating Y drops about 2 years ago. So that gets us into July so we can put some later rates on there. Haven't
yeah.
seen it. I don't know. It's one of those things. My data got messed up last year because of the storms, but the one field we did it on up north that didn't get touched looked really good and did really
Yeah.
good. It's like a home run. And then now we're talking about these nitrogen use efficiencies. And that was kind of a new to me last year. So this conference talked a lot about it with Jackson and Sentinel. So I think at my best farm was probably at point 0.8. And then like a lot of the panel and people there, I mean, they're getting down there under zero point 0.7 to zero point 0.3, which
Yeah.
talking to some agronomists is kind of scary. But
Well, I've seen some, yeah, I saw some trials of theirs they did, Bob, and did some things, and there's even some up here. I mean, like, yeah, the old university saying, at least for corn, it was 1.2 pounds per bushel. And, I know from like, even our university, it's like, if you just deep band it, you can cut it by 25%. So if you don't spread it, like, just put it down 4 or 5 inches, whatever.
yep, the
It's
new
like, there you can cut it.
strip tilling or something, strip
Yeah,
till idea.
something. I mean,
Yep.
we up north we get more. Our chisel plows are not the same chisel plows down south, I suppose. But 12-inch spacing wide. People put anhydrous down, put it down 6 inches. 60-foot wide cultivate or chisel plow. But yeah, that's. I don't think anybody up here has really done 1.2. I'd say it was always around zero point 0.9. But
Okay.
we also had colder soils, so everything you could do it in the fall, and it would stay.
Right.
And you just wouldn't move as much for south. That's probably why the rate was higher. That's like, well, it's just warmer. It's like, you're gonna, no matter what you do, you're gonna lose. And most people
Mhm.
didn't split apply. So it's like, well, you got to put 1.2 down ahead. And it's like, then everyone just got used to that in their head, when it's like, actually, if you just time it right, you can get like down to zero point 0.3 or zero point 0.5. Or, I mean, it's going to vary for the season, but that is the point of
Yes.
digital tools and data and tech, so that you can actually see and focus on where you should or shouldn't do that.
Exactly.
It's
That's what, yeah, it helps us dive into it. At least start finding where we can start cutting back that nitrogen. So even having, like I spoke with my rep this week, they're still kind of scared to cut back too much because we are just so liable for that volatilization or leaching. We're
yeah.
running so flat. So we're going to start trickling down and start looking at that zero point 0.7. So we'll see. I don't think they're comfortable. A lot of people aren't comfortable going underneath that number.
Well, it's the liability issue. I've talked about this with so many over the years. There's been so many tools online that'll say, yeah, you can do this and do this. There's this much in the field. It's like, okay, who's taking that liability on that decision? Like, we never did it on imagery. We are like, hey, your fields, go soil test, do tissue sample, whatever. Like, we're just showing you a difference and a change. But once you get into a recommendation, that's a different animal. And a lot of agronomists, yeah, naturally, like, yeah, put more on. Like, it's going to look good, which makes me look good,
Yeah.
which
Jump.
makes you kind of look good, I guess, depending on your market, your grain. That's your problem. That's someone else's problem. But, we got fertility rate. It's
Mhm.
like, well, did we? Did you? Like, that's the thing I'm hoping I'm always trying to unlock. It's like, whether someone does or not, it's, can you honestly sleep at night when, fertilizer prices are high and you're just doing the norm? Like, maybe it's almost the opposite effect. When years are good, it's like, oh yeah, I got to put as much as I can because I can afford it. I'm fine. But in years like now, it's like, I can't sleep at night if I do that. It's like there's some calculators up here where they'll match, more realistically to the price and to what your likelihood of yield is. If like it's high, if you match it to the price, it's like, no, it doesn't matter how much you put, you'll never gain back the ROI. So it's more of like an ROI fertility calculator instead of a yield kind of calculator, which people got to think that way, else they're going to just get in trouble,
That's our new
honestly.
way, yeah. ROI instead of yield. We're not chasing yield high scores, I
Yeah.
guess, anymore. But yeah,
No.
that's where we what do we do? We lost my train of thought. But all right, yeah, keep going. I'll circle back.
Yeah. So if you're getting into more fertigation, you just got to set up a tank by the pivot and, a pump and valve and all that fun stuff.
Yep.
I
I
did, I
think the
did see that
pump game's
UAN
come a long
is,
way, but there's a lot
yeah.
better pumps than there used to be. I think that's kind of why a lot of people went away from it. And as long as you got product readily and get out to the field and get it out to the field and put it in that tank, sounds like it's a decent amount.
Well, and I have seen that like UAN prices are skyrocketing right now versus like urea because of plant closures as it was cold and shit. So, best of luck there.
Right,
Let's see.
exactly. Then even with the farm, like, some fields we're not even, like, cutting, like, the total fertilizer rate
Mhm.
back, but we're doing variable rate, so we're at least putting the right amount of fertilizer
Yeah,
on the right acres. So that's one
yeah.
way you can kinda tiptoe into it if you don't wanna get below that threshold of point 0.7 or whatever number is in your head, just start putting it in the right spot.
Well, it's always been a distribution thing, and that was what's through my time in this with variable rate, which is 32 years now of history around it, is always weird. It went in different segments. The first mindset by a lot, it kind of depended on where in the country, but like in the Corn Belt, the early days were put more in lower yielding areas to boost them up, and then we can put less in higher yielding areas, which totally did not work
No.
for the most part. There are examples where it could have, but and then it was like, oh, well, yeah, now we can put less in the poor yielding areas if they're always poor yielding because it's just the lay of the land. Unless they're not, what's the limiting factor? And so it was about saving then. It's like, but then or maybe we can keep what we do in the high yielding areas and cut back on the lower. And that was the farmer mindset talking. And the more the agronomic side and financial side, then the ag retailer got into like, well, hey guys, we still think you should put more on. We're just going to redistribute it. So, put more on in the good areas. And on the average areas, you could probably push that a little bit. Yeah, cut back a little on the poor areas. And then the fertilizer bill
Mhm.
was actually ended up being higher than what you were going to put as a straight rate.
Right.
And what slowly started to happen, I've heard this over and over again. It's like, oh, well, it didn't work. The variable rate didn't work. I spent more money. I didn't save. I didn't get this. And it's like, oh, well, I guess it was what it was. You just go back to normal, but we should, still, go a little higher than before. We have all these new products.
Still gotta realize
And
they're in the
now,
business to sell fertilizer, so
yeah,
tread
yeah.
lightly.
And, and not to shame on ag retailers, but yeah, that's their that's their business. Just
Mhm.
know that when you're getting agronomy advice from an ag retailer or someone that sells an input, it's like, that's kind of the point.
That's why I kinda
Take
move
it.
independent agronomists. I like to keep a couple of those in my pocket too, because it doesn't matter if they
Yeah,
sell it or not, they just wanna help your ROI, and even when I was a couple of years ago when I was starting this, I'd make them do a, um, return on investment just on their services, so and, like, make sure
yeah.
the applications we're doing and the insight that they're giving me, whether it be disease pressure, fungus out there, so keep them honest and
Well, that's always it gets to be so tough because everyone's like competing against attention. And I think farmers could own this so much more if they just dug into some of the digital tools just a little bit more, saying, I get where you're coming from, but I'm seeing this. This is what I'm seeing. I've looked at so much freaking satellite imagery. I can see, I can go look at someone else's farm and bring it up, be like, hey, what's going on here? Well, I just spread it straight, be like, all right, well, this area always yields better, right? Well, yeah. I was like, okay, back to nitrogen efficiency ratio there. It's like, yeah, 1.2 can work here. Yeah. But what about over here? Oh, I don't know. Well, yeah, maybe zero point 0.6 works there. Like, just, and then it fits in there. Like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
mhm,
It's like, okay, take that and move that to the retailer to whatever and say, I'm seeing this. Let's start here.
mhm,
And then, convince me otherwise. you
right,
know, I have a budget for this. I'm calculating it here. Okay, tell me why I'm wrong. And I'm going to ask the independent guy too. Tell me why I'm wrong. And then you put them together and then you figure out kind of a conclusion. And I get it. It takes more time, takes more effort, takes more education. Like everyone's busy as hell doing crap. So,
and
yeah,
you only get 1 tries a year, so that's the hardest part, and Mother
that was
Nature's
one of the,
pinching it, so
that was one of the funnest things that all these, when all the money came into ag tech, all these outsiders came in realizing that they're like, oh, I spent all this money creating this tool or thing, and someone only uses it for 1 day out of the year. I'm like, Yeah, it's a terrible business to
Oh,
create
right.
stuff.
Oh, it's brutal. Tough to get into, man. I feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
Just talking
No,
to
I
the
mean,
crews down at FarmCon, I'm like, "You signed up to work in ag tech and come over here and work with farmers and try to get on farmers' doors, and it's hard enough to buy a different seed than you're usually buying, and you actually know a seed salesman. You get a new company coming in. I mean, I think that's a lot of this where this friction comes from. Just letting new people on the farm
yeah.
and
I mean, this is where I think, going back to some of the AI tools, it's like you can start asking questions on it that you're almost too afraid to ask or to understand things without like the judgment or whatever. But then, it can almost help you illustrate that. Like, I think it's all farmers are scared to talk to other farmers, their neighbors almost about like agronomy things, unless they're really close and all that. Maybe there's a way to use some of those things a little more anonymously. Be like, hey, I tried this and it worked this way. And then another person's like, well, I tried this and it worked this way. They don't know that who they are, but they might be in the same county. It's like, okay. I mean, this could come into USDA reports down the road. If we're just a little bit more open to sharing little things, how much more could that actually help us agronomically, market wise? It's like we're having all these problems where everyone's bitching about them online. Like I've been on this market post thing on Facebook and everyone's blaming, everything. It's like, do you realize if how we're all coming together online and complaining about the same thing, if we just kind of, united here and said, hey, let's fix it.
right.
Let's talk to our representatives. Like maybe we could just get a lot more done. We could together fix things that others do that hurt us.
Well, that's bringing me to my
So
next point. Like the last week, we did get a lot of farmers coming together on this E15 getting passed, and how it didn't.
there
That
we go.
actually revolted farmers and the corn growers associations. National even
Yeah.
put out a big statement. I mean, that really got everybody together and talking to your representatives, and we're working in it. And what Trump was in Iowa yesterday made a big conversation. We got up markets today, so I don't know. They might have done something.
Well, sometimes you got to use scare tactics, and sometimes it works.
Mhm.
It's uncomfortable. I think ag as a whole needs to do. Farmers need to do that as a whole a lot more right now. I mean, that's what was done in the '80s when my dad farmed. They got on a bus. I mean, they didn't have social media. They didn't have cell phones. It was kind of the people got together in a room and they made some phone calls and then they got together and they took a bus to DC and said, you guys are killing us, stop it.
Exactly.
And yeah,
And then
you
they
could have
some of 'em
voted for those people, but you can still bitch at them.
right.
They're representatives.
Some of them even
It's
drove their tractors to Washington, DC. That was a heck of a
yeah.
revolt. But and that
I
was I
mean,
mean, if I remember right, I think that was like the banks were in trouble. The banks were the big ones and kind of raised the fuss and got this
mhm,
going too for the farmers because it was putting the farmers in a pinch because they were calling loans and all this fun stuff.
yeah.
So it took the bank and then the farmers revolting up there to get some actually done in the 80s. It seemed like.
Well, and
I mean, I was just born, so I wasn't there, but
yeah.
somebody can correct me if I'm wrong.
I the day I was born, the bank told my dad you couldn't farm anymore. So it's in my like my blood cells of the feeling of it. But the
Yeah,
with the E15 side of things, it's like, okay, got some bad news last week. You got pissed. Okay, people started talking. That's this is a great template for doing it. Okay, you don't like the USDA reports. I don't know, do the same thing. Let's come together and hey, you got data that can prove that you were this? Cool. Share it. Like tell the world, like prove that you think what their stuff was wrong. Cause that helps everybody. And that helps make maybe E15 happen and other policy changes. You know, we got to get out of this. I think everyone got so comfortable because things were comfortable because of all the protections that were made from the '80s. Honestly, everything's there's just more protections that we got used to being in our own kind of world. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, the outside world's saying we don't really care. You guys are just this or that, bunch of welfare queens or whatever, the plenty of words out there. And sure, to elements, it's true, but it doesn't tell the whole story. It's like, well, then let's talk about it. Let's tell the story. I mean, This is why we're doing this, honestly, it's
Exactly.
just to get this thing,
Everybody's
the
getting too
thoughts out.
comfortable, so we gotta start this and raise some fuss.
Well, and like, let's be honest, with E15, is it the perfect solution for 100 years in the future? No. What is? Nothing really is. Something will come along and change that. But if farmers can't survive to get to that point, then they're not going to be at the table, at the door to say what they need. I look at ethanol as, yes, it's not probably the future of fuel for everything, but it is a gap filler. And if it doesn't get done, all of these other things start kind of crumbling down because the amount of corn we have and the plants that are out there, the capacity, the propensity to keep gasoline vehicles out there, because that ain't changing.
Mhm.
You know, the major car manufacturers are shutting down their electrical vehicle programs. Ford is for their Lightning. It's like, okay, the public has spoken. It's not quite there yet. All right. What fills that gap to make this bridge between sustainability and environmental? But it's not perfect, but it's here. Like, it
Gonna get
should
it
be
fine.
easy. Like, we get it,
Right.
but we need to talk to normal consumers to say, you guys got to get it too. It's like, this helps
Gotta use it.
rural America and farmers, and this helps bring people together. And hey, what's one of the biggest problems we have right now? Everyone's fighting against each other.
Mhm.
Here's a perfect way where we can agree on something.
And it's
Get
cheaper.
away from the
Cheaper going
yeah,
into your tank.
get away from the crazy politics. You can disagree with whatever, but here's something that can be agreed on and can actually help everyone lessen your burden at the tank, helps rural areas. Those rural people do well. Farmers, what do they do when they make money? They go into urban areas and spend money, a lot of money.
Yes, very much.
Yes. And then the cycle kind of, the wheel spins.
Mhm.
So we got to get out our own way, organize, say what we want changed, because complete voice of farmers is one of the most powerful, literally organizational groupings in the world. It's like,
But then we're stuck out in our small towns, so then it doesn't even get up to the big urban areas for a while. I mean, we gotta totally change the infrastructure, get more E15 pumps. So it's gonna take a while till it even comes to fruition, but this is a start as long as we can get it passed.
well, it's about building momentum. It's like, okay, yeah, some states can support it better. Like we can up here, there's a lot of E85 stuff around. Iowa, I know they have pumps everywhere, and
Mhm.
there's different factions of it.
Yeah, a lot of our
But
corn goes
even
out to
I
California too.
well, I was reading a thing on it that they've done tests, and actually down to E30, you don't have to change any components in a vehicle. It doesn't have to be, yeah, E85 is one
For
thing,
debt.
yeah,
Right,
I
right.
get it.
Different
But
cap.
down to a certain point, you don't have to change anything. You don't need special pumps. You just it
Mhm.
just needs to say it and be that, you know, you just replace, what, 89 with E15 or whatever.
Yep, that's the easy switch.
Yeah, and now the worry would be, I'm curious on your take on this, because I saw someone bring it up. Okay, E15 passes. What's gonna happen? Corn goes wild, go up to, ooh, $6, $7 again. People switch away from soybeans, from wheat, from, all these other crops. Corn, corn, corn. We get, record acres, record bushels. And then what do we do to ourselves? Same cycle. We create too much. We can't produce it all. We can't. And then we just get down into this other cycle. It's
Just
like,
climbing higher up the mountain, ready to fall.
yeah,
Getting that
we
stockpile up there, but then, yeah, then the fertilizer price isn't gonna budge either if we keep demanding it. So,
exactly. And then equipment prices go up, land prices go up, chemical prices go up. So, you know, we create our own problems once again.
it's a vicious cycle. Yes.
How, I don't, I'm not in the main corn areas. Of course, around where I live right now is pretty much there, but not where I farm. What would you do to mitigate that? Is there a way to mitigate this same problem? Like,
Well, doing cost reductions, I think even right now, fertilizer is so outrageous that we are still like keeping on a bean rotation. And then like our acres, it's hard to do swing a lot of corn on corn acres. And if we do, it's like
Yeah.
3 years of corn and then switch to a good year of beans. So I think that kind of keeps it in check around here. And then we got the big Cargill plant right down the road. So I think that helps keep
Mhm.
it in check. And then, I mean, we got enough cattle feeders. I don't know if there's gonna be enough cattle around to use up the rest, but then we're not, I mean, I don't think Cargill directly has ethanol coming out of it. It's not like an ethanol processing plant,
Sure.
like a like a big Kappa or the other ones outside of here. It's not like just a main ethanol. They use every part of the product of corn here. I still want a
Mhm.
list of all the products that Cargill uses in Blair, but it's outrageous. It's in the hundreds, but
Well, I wonder if, there's a lot of, if we would treat E15 more of a not as a commodity, and then you bring in like the, um, oh, why brain fart on the, that one carbon program or
no,
the
45Z.
yeah, 45Z. Then of course, the next step would be, okay, you get E15 pass now and you get people to feel it. It's like, all right, let's get the safe aviation fuel pass for soybeans, and canola works great for it too.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, let's let's get that going. Why the hell not? Of course, oil lobbies will be oil lobbies, so you got to fight that no matter what. But something's got to start somewhere so the wheel starts spinning. But then again, to the point, how do we control so we don't get out of hand? I think the biofuel side, if everyone was smart, we'd control that a little differently and put like caps on so that you had to like contract it properly. Like you were talking, like I might put barley in. Well, I can just sell barley unless it's feed barley. Well, that's like $2 a bushel, not $5 a bushel. Sure. If I want my commodity price, it's X. That's the way the world works. How that gets bought and traded, that is what it is. But for barley, for malting, I have quality standards. I have to match those. I have to call places. I have to get a contract. I have to wait to provide that out there. This is a normal thing that we're used to up in my area. Of course, a lot of corn and soybean guys aren't. I think you'd have to do that to some degree if we really want biofuels to exist, is to just limit it, because that can keep more consistency, because this up and down from $3 to $7 and $900 a metric ton to $400 a metric ton for, it's like, this doesn't work. This isn't sustainably consistent. Wouldn't you
Yep.
rather have always $5 corn than
A
the
stable.
upswings?
Yeah, stable. Yeah, we're looking for a stable price. Yes. We don't like a roller coasters. I think it's, yeah, gets scary.
Well, they do. They like the industry, the big industry, they love the ups and downs because they can hedge against things and all that. But and smart farmers can do it too if you have the right storage and understand markets and all that. But we can't. I mean, this is where I think a lot of the digital processes we need to use more and accept more, because it's like, okay, if we did try to control a little bit of the production for biofuels, like for one, put a metric to it to make it a little more transparent. 45Z, safe
Mhm.
aviation fuel standards, those things. Okay,
Carbon footprint.
that means you're willing to go the extra mile so that you get that extra 50 cents or whatever the heck it would be. Yeah, that gives incentive to keep the status quo in a position of sustainability
Mhm.
financially. But you got to use those tools. Like we got to force ourselves almost to like control ourselves.
Yep. You gotta pay
Or
to play and learn, do all the fun stuff, cover crops, more sustainability. Otherwise, everybody's out there doing it, and it just gets washed away. You got some
yeah,
people out there tillage and then throw it into the same batch. We're right back to where we started.
yeah. And like I'll I'll scream it to the heavens. It's like, just like we were kind of talking last week. Just start using some of these things. Just start tracking something,
Mhm.
because while, for instance, EF or E15 or safe aviation fuel, whatever, yeah, maybe that takes a little while to get done. But if you have some of that data that proved a little bit of what you did, at least to some decent degree, well, you're gonna maybe get that contract first. Like that's how it works in other specialty commodities. Like I'll bring back barley. Budweiser will only work with you if they know you bring in consistent quality product. Otherwise, they will not give you a contract. You can find and fight for other ones on the outside, like I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
But unless I'm farming and doing good with barley for like 10 years, I can't get their attention. But it's because they prove through various data points and relationships that, oh, it's trusted. And then you always get your malting contract because you always grow it. And they help you then.
You know, you put in
They
the
bring
work,
in their
you
agronomists.
put in the work, the transparencies to work with them, especially for the years. And the longer you do it, the better, just like any relationship works. So,
Well, I wonder if you could start creating, you know, sugar beets up here. They created their own co-op around that so they could help kind of control the input and output of what's going on there so things didn't get crazy.
is it a co-op or cartel? I forgot.
Well, it, it looks like a co-op. It might act like a
I'm not
cartel at times. I mean, the sugar industry. Let's
okay.
call it. There's the production side of sugar and the sugar side. So sorry for all my sugar beet farmer friends out there.
I'm new.
Um,
I'm not part of it.
yeah,
You can blame me.
but at the very least, maybe that's what the biofuel side needs is more of grower co-ops that are like, no, we're kind of putting the rules towards how our area wants to deal with biofuels. Sure, we'll sell to the big ethanol plant and crushing plant, whatever, and maybe they want to form one themselves.
Mhm.
Say, hey, we're going to work like we want you guys to form one. Please do it and guide us because we want X from you though. We want more data so that we can properly sell our stuff, call it safe aviation fuel. It's like we want to showcase to Delta Airlines that we have a better product than the other plant 200 miles from here
Yep. I
because
think
we
it's
want to get another 5 cents a gallon from Delta Airlines. It uses a shit ton of diesel
oh, yeah.
for fuel.
And then even when you buy a plane ticket now, it gives your carbon footprint on there or like how so, I mean, that's
Yeah.
cool. I mean, that's a start. So,
Well, maybe you get a perks program. It's like, hey, if I know that my my corn is going to X, oh, I get a little discount from GM because they're like, yeah, we support murderer farmers and all
there
that.
you go.
They love marketing, Delta Airlines, United, whatever, all they'll do the same thing. Be like, hey, you grow soybeans and you've proven because you have the this co-op card that sells to Delta, like you get more points, you get more airline miles, you get whatever.
Get
Like,
to sit in the front. Free check a free
yeah,
bag. Something.
it's a like I $1 billion
Full
ideas.
circle.
Come
That's a
on.
full circle idea. I like that.
Yeah. But that's all people want. They want incentive.
Mhm. And I mean, that's basically why the co-op was started to get better buying power against retailers back in the day. I don't think
Yeah.
the co-op system really seems like their vision's a little off, depending on your area. You might have some good co-ops around, but co-op
Well,
vision
the
was
big
initially
ones,
started to bring farmers together for buying power. And now we're just kind of looking at it different. We got selling power now, which I think they probably started out like that too, but I don't think that's that anymore.
yeah. Well, there's a local group, a guy that he wants to create like a data co-op. Well, that can be the first step, honestly, to creating, yeah, a biofuels co-op. It's like, well, unless you have the data first, kind of shows what you're doing and pool. Like, oh, well, then hey, we just pool our grain too, I guess. And because we're showing what we're doing as this little data co-op, well, now we have the upper hand versus all this random
Yep.
sporadic stuff. You got the boss calling.
No, I don't know what that was. Getting a FaceTime to her computer for some reason. My bad.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. But I mean, maybe that's the idea to start from is instead of if you want to create a biofuels co-op of sort locally, instead of starting with the grain side, you start with the digital side first and saying, all right, let's find people that are willing to share this in a pool to some degree,
Mhm.
benchmarking things, all that fun stuff. There's ancillary benefits to that beyond just the grain side of it. Oh, you grow this amount. Well, now we prove that. And where? And what quality standard and this and this. Well, shit. We might as well just, I'll sell it to the big ethanol plant. Say, we got 5 million bushels here with data points connected to all of it. That should be worth a little more, shouldn't it? Be like, yep, that's worth another 25 cents. You guys want it? Split it out the way. Bing, bang, boom. Everybody wins.
Yep, get
Like,
paid your incentive, and then, yeah, even starting the data, like, a couple of years ahead before you actually have the grain, because you could have all that data for a couple of years probably to fulfill
yeah,
what they want out of it. So, yeah, get that started first and then start the buying and selling power.
yeah. And then, I mean, like you were talking, yeah, the bigger co-ops, I mean, that can get problematic. So you should have some checks and balances. But like we still have a lot of smaller co-ops in my area because I don't know how it all just kind of works. We have less regulation, so they don't have to merge to
Mhm,
get by. Where in South Dakota, it's quite different. They have a lot more rules around ag retail, so they've just had to merge.
mhm. That's how Nebraska
Um,
is too, yep.
and so we're a little lucky here, but it's like, okay, we know that now. We've the experiment has ran. Let's create a data grain biofuels co-op, and let's put ourselves in a position of understanding that first, and so we can dictate what our value really is,
Mhm.
because that's what we've got out of is we haven't, as farmers as a whole, been very good at proving our value. We just let someone else set our value. Why don't we control that? That's that's the point.
Right, right. Yeah, we're doing all this to try to make a better crop, quality crop, and then we just let it get lost in transition and don't do enough with it.
Well, look at what a farmer's market does, in a local little area. You can have, I mean, there's memes about this. There's two stands right next to each other. One's for $5 and one's for $3. Well, what's the difference? Well, something must be different. What's the story? What's the information behind it? You got to sell that. We're just not, we haven't had to do it. So we never created processes to do it. Actually, it's all existed. All this digital stuff's existed. That's the way we do it. It's like you have to choose, create new ways of doing things or stay in the old ways in the shadows and slowly, I don't know, not make it. I don't know.
Yeah, so yeah, and it's all renewal season, so it's a different interesting time till the price swings here, but
Uh, well, my grandiose ideas will only get so far, I suppose. So
oh,
everyone just start talks amongst yourselves. There's the topic.
yeah, get a group of farmers together, talk about a subject, pick your point, pick your
Yeah.
poison, go with it.
Well, so I anything else you learned from the little conferences, and I mean even side meetings, um, or what's the sentiment? What are people feeling?
They didn't talk about the data side very much, but I think it's just the nitrogen efficiency and the nitrogen price has got a lot of people. That's kind of the main flavor of the year. I think everybody's trying to find that
Yeah.
imagery. And I even pulled a card out of yours. Nave Analytics, Jesse was up there talking about satellite imagery, and I was like, "What's your pixels?" I had to pull my Nathan card. What's your pixel
What?
imagery?
Oh,
And she knew the answer,
yeah.
and I think it was like 30, and they're trying to get down to 10 just so we could get better visions. But had to pull your card and knock that one out. And then I asked her if she could use it for acreage reporting, but they're not there yet either.
No, well, they're doing on a different realm, and I know them, and I mean, those are the types of things I think more farmers just need to educate themselves on. So you're starting. I got all this crap in my head from years, but it's asking those right questions. If you are talking to like policymakers and people running the big organizations, be like, okay, you're trying to fight for us. Okay, great. Well, how the hell are you going to do it though? Like, or what can I give you to give you more ammunition to get it done? It's like,
Mhm.
do you need my farm data to prove to you? Like, what do you need? Use me as an example. Like
That's
that.
what I like to do. Yep.
mo-
Yep. Bring it to my farm. Let us try it for a year. Otherwise, yeah, if he needs help with something, then just like at the E15, I mean, they just want us to post pictures of using buying E15 at the pump. So, I mean, little things like that help your voice go a long way with this social media world we're in.
Well, that and it's like, okay, if you do have a representative that wants to get this done, let's start with the E15 and go down the line. Instead of them telling your story, tell them like, you can't tell our story. Let me with some others come with you to tell the story so they see us
Mhm.
and be in there. And then we can provide proof of certain things like, hey, we did this, this, and this. This is where it's going. I think that's another part that gets lost is
Yep.
we're relying on these other voices that are, well, I don't know, some of them are bought and paid for clearly.
Somebody to talk for us. But I mean, a lot of the groups are farmers, but they want to see a separate. I mean, they've been in the on the boards and up there a while, so they want to see a farmer from the ground to come in the room and actually talk about what we're doing out here. I think it holds a lot more value than the same people talking about it.
Well, I just thought of a crazy idea. I don't know what exists for this. I'm sure something does. There's got to be some like world oil conference or something. All the tycoons come together, probably in Houston, Texas, I would imagine, or something, where all these big oil people come in to play. And, we should almost like march as farmers towards that and be like, hey, no, it's our turn now. You guys have plenty. You're
Yeah,
doing fine.
you guys have fun. It's our turn now.
Really nice helicopter you have, asshole. But we're
Mhm.
coming in. Here's my 9RX pulling in. Like I'm just gonna run that thing over right now. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Like
Ah,
and just like pull into a. I mean, while I do, well, there's plenty of protesting going in the country, and I don't want to rise too many
right.
of that side. There is a point to doing it to a point too. Maybe farmers need to do it a little more and say, but in the right ways of
All of them
showcasing
collective. Yep. Yep. Don't raise a fuss. Don't get the police
the
involved.
value.
Just say your words.
You know, yeah. Of course, if you did that, you'd have to. The only way you could drive to that oil conference would be with, you know, E85 vehicles and biodiesel.
I didn't even check on the price on E85 vehicles. I know they slowed down production there for a while, but
Our old Suburban had it, and at times it was awesome. It was like, oh, $1 off, and I was only losing, I don't know, 10% mileage. Is like, sign me up
yeah.
every day.
Ah,
Plus, the engine is cleaner until it wasn't because the lifters got sticky and then the engine crap.
oh boy.
That's
That's
another.
probably a while ago. They came a long way since then.
I For anyone listening, if that happens on your Suburban, fix the engine, just get it over with because the other side is not good. So just value and all that crap. Anyways, I'm getting off topic.
Well,
Are you got any other conferences you're going to?
I got Outstanding Farmers of America the end of next week. So that's out in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So that's kind
Oh,
of a group,
cool.
National Outstanding Young Farmers, which has a class of 2024. Got me involved with that group. So we're heading out to Pennsylvania. I've never been there before. I know our friends
Nice.
at My Ag Data are going to be there. They're going to educate people on digital acreage reporting, and I think I'm going to help. And that just
Yeah,
worked, just pure coincidence. I was already going to the conference, and then they got asked to speak at it. So it'll be good. And then, like our bunch of our class will be there. We came in with I think what 6, 7 different couples, 8 couples maybe.
cool.
So then most of our class will be there. So it's a good year to good time to catch up with everybody
Yeah,
and see what
no, that
and
sounds
then
fun.
kind of get the feel of how the economy is across the whole U.S. because there's farmers across all the U.S. of A.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. People just got to get out more too. Like, I mean, sure, there's Commodity Classic and National Farm Machinery Show. Those are coming up.
Mhm.
It's always good to get that pulse, but the local things or the different things are always good. One which was interesting that I was at last year, National Ag in the Classroom conference.
Never heard of that one.
It moves, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's a great place to start because if you get teachers, because teachers from all over the country teaching ag from elementary to high school, It's like, all right, if you can get those people to teach kids to understand this, then, just it's getting the wheel spinning. And but then there's local events too. I'm going to, well, I think I will be. There's Agronomy on Ice, which is up in my area, which is basically a little farm show literally on the ice and
With
bunch
the
of
old
fish
ag
houses,
mafia.
and it's
Bridget,
well,
old Bridget
yeah,
Riddell. She's a goodie.
yeah,
And the rest of the ag mafia, good people. That'd be good. That's my goal to get up there one of these years.
yeah. I haven't even looked at the forecast, but I mean, cold is usually the forecast.
Even
And
up there, yeah.
hey, for any farmers that want to, or any other ag business people, I think it's one of the only conferences where the booths are basically enclosed, and definitely there's plenty to drink and eat. It's basically it's tailgating more or less,
Right.
but for a farm show, and it's pretty unique, honestly.
Yeah, you don't see another one like that. That's for dang sure.
It's it's kind of fun. No one catches fish because where it is outside of the resort, and there's no fish in that area. But people put holes down and they look for fish and they try. But
There you go. Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah,
Good
either way,
people
get out
involved.
in the winter. Like, ask questions, start bringing up these things,
Yep.
create some new co-ops.
There you go.
What else? What else should people do? What else should farmers do that I'm missing?
Start gathering your data. Get it all ready, and then get your game plan for next year, just like you're doing. Get your crops all, get rotations planned. It's not always easy. I think I've had mine done for like a month and a half, and I don't think we're going to change anything. But start working on fertilizer recommendations and prepays. So they're going to be beating down your door wanting your nitrogen locked in here pretty soon. But like they said at FarmCon, don't be afraid to wait a little bit, but you don't want to
I
wait
don't know if
way
that's
too long.
working. I don't like. I've been hearing kind of the opposite now. It's like,
Doesn't seem to be.
well, natural gas went up, so that didn't help, and but it's cold in areas that aren't as cold, which, yeah, maybe wait it out a little bit, but I don't know. It's maybe no one knows what the hell they're talking about.
Right, right. It's all wishful thinking sometimes, but I guess we can give it a try. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna try to put it in deep, and I'm gonna try to probably gas it in if anhydrous stays cheap enough, and February a little bit, and instead of the $100 an acre that the spreadsheet on average told me that I should spend on fertility, I'm gonna try to get it down to about 60. That's my
cool.
goal.
There you go.
So
Good.
I think I can do it. I might make a mass mistake though too. So that's
It's your first
the
year.
fear is always,
Got to get back
yeah,
into it. Yep. At least you're trying. Live and
gotta do
learn.
something. But
Got to do
I
something
mean,
even
that's,
wrong.
yeah, just creating more questions than answers in all this. But
That's why you're cynical.
it's, yeah, someone's got to be a cynical asshole.
Right.
So
That's why we love you.
yeah.
But
Well, you're more even. You're the even keeled, you know, study as they go. So,
yeah, try to keep my
but
chill. So yep.
yeah,
But yeah, I say we shut her down and get some more ideas.
yeah,
We had two subjects we wanted to talk to, and we didn't even talk about them, but we'll save them for next time. Little
yeah.
hydrogel and
Sure.
precision plants,
Oh,
new plant the seed the right way up. Is that what it is? Is
oh,
that what it's
yeah.
called?
The planet the right way down.
Oh
I
yeah,
guess
plant the right way.
whichever way.
Yeah.
Just shortly speaking on that, I mean, some of the cold weather results in colder areas like mine, some were seeing 20, 30 bushel differences,
Okay. Okay.
which is insane,
Right.
honestly, for a $900. Yeah, they're $900 a row if you have all the other stuff already,
Oh, that was my question.
basically.
I was gonna do some research to see how much it costs, but come back to that
So,
ROI, how long does it take to pay for it?
yeah, if you already have the meters and some of the other sensor stuff, yeah, it's $900 a row. That's what I was told. So,
Mhm.
not too bad if you can get a little extra, but
Right. But you guys
you
probably
may
run
be,
like 36-inch rows up there, right?
huh?
36 row planters probably? 24, 36
Oh,
planters are probably
quite
big
quite
there.
a few. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to do that, but
Oh,
yeah, 24, 36, pretty common. So,
yep.
yeah, next week maybe.
Yeah, we'll leave it. Give us a little more time to do some research. ROI
Yeah,
numbers, costs. So
yeah.
sounds
Well,
good.
there we go. Well, for all those listening, subscribe, share, like, all the fun stuff on all the different channels and places. And yeah, tell your friends and tell us what else we should talk about.
Yeah, give us
I'm
some
open.
feedback and pick your platform. I think we're up to like 100 followers on most of the platforms, so that's progress. So that's good.
Yeah,
We're making it. We're going.
we're slowly. Maybe that's the only people that can tolerate us too. Who knows?
Still January, still the first month, so we're good.
Yeah, it's early. So, all right. Well, see you everyone. Thanks for listening.
Take care.
See ya.